the exact feeling. Your phone lights up. A coworker, a friend, or a family member is asking for a favor you absolutely do not want to do. Your chest tightens. You stare at the screen, desperately wanting to decline. But your fingers type, "Sure, no problem," before you can stop them. You lock your phone, and instantly a heavy, venomous resentment settles in your stomach. You are dreading the weekend. You are exhausted. But worst of all, you are angry at yourself. Because once again, you have traded your own peace of mind just to avoid 3 seconds of uncomfortable conflict. If this is your daily reality, you need to hear this. You are not weak. What you are experiencing is not a moral failing. It is a highly orchestrated behavioral loop. You have been systematically conditioned since childhood by a society that weaponizes the concept of empathy. You have been taught that compliance is a virtue and that establishing boundaries makes you selfish. You are bleeding out your time and energy not because you are overly generous, but because your psychological conditioning has trapped you in a perpetual state of submission. But what if I told you that your kindness is actually an elaborate psychological prison, and the master key to breaking out of it, to reclaiming your total sovereignty, was forged in the ruthless, blood-soaked political courts of Renaissance Italy? In the brutal, unforgiving landscape of 15th century Florence, Niccolò Machiavelli observed the mechanics of human nature in its rawest form. Machiavelli did not write his philosophy from the safety of an ivory tower. He was, in fact, an exiled diplomat who watched powerful empires crumble and men executed simply because they tried to be universally loved. He witnessed the horrific cost of naivety. While other philosophers wrote utopian fantasy about how humans should act, Machiavelli wrote a ruthless survival manual based on how humans actually act. He understood the greatest threat to your survival is not your enemy. It is your own desperate, pathetic need for affection. To stop being an emotional doormat, you must confront the illusion of the good person. When you endlessly say yes to demands that drain you, you mistakenly believe you are practicing supreme empathy. Machiavelli would call this what it truly is: cowardice. You are employing a defensive mechanism. You are terrified of rejection, so you attempt to purchase the herd's approval using your own time and energy as the currency. But here is the fatal flaw in that strategy. Human beings do not respect what is given freely and unconditionally. By infinitely yielding your boundaries, you do not train people to love you. You train them to view your sovereignty as worthless. Machiavelli wrote a maxim that shatters the foundation of people-pleasing. It is much safer to be feared than loved. Listen closely to that. To modern society, this sounds evil. But Machiavelli was not telling you to become a tyrant. He was revealing the ultimate boundary. The desperate need to be loved makes you prone to manipulation. The demand to be respected makes you uncrossable. Understanding this concept intellectually is easy. But when you examine how you operate in your daily relationships, you will realize you are committing the ultimate psychological treason against yourself. Let's look in the mirror. You tell yourself that you just hate letting people down. But look at the reality of your life. By refusing to establish boundaries, you are living a lie. You smile and nod while harboring deep venomous resentment toward the very people you are helping. You are abandoning your own goals, your own rest, and your own peace of mind to act as a background character in someone else's life. This is the ultimate self-sabotage. You are so terrified of someone being momentarily disappointed in you that you are willing to completely destroy yourself to prevent it. You are trading your living reality for a few crumbs of cheap, fleeting validation. And do not, for a second, believe that society wants you to change. The modern world runs on your inability to say no. Corporate structures, bad friends, and opportunists, they all thrive on your compliance. They label you a team player or a reliable friend. What they actually mean is that you are highly exploitable. They feed you a relentless stream of minor emergencies because they know you lack the spine to refuse them. Your compliance is their convenience. As long as you remain terrified of conflict, you are the perfect obedient pawn for the herd to consume. You have a choice today. You can continue to bleed out your time, desperately buying the affection of people who do not respect your limits until you wake up bitter and entirely empty. Or you can choose autonomy. You can make the definitive choice to protect your energy, but you cannot fight this psychological battle with vague intentions to be more assertive. You need a framework. Here are the 3 protocols to reclaim your boundaries. Protocol 1, the Scarcity Doctrine. You must completely reframe how you view your time. In economics, a fiat currency loses its value the more they print it. Your time works exactly the same way. If you are infinitely available to everyone, even the people you love, your presence is eventually taken for granted. You must introduce a buffer. From this moment on, your default answer to a sudden request is a delay. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. You do not agree in the moment. You buy yourself the psychological distance necessary to evaluate the request. By making your availability scarce, you teach the people in your life to value your presence rather than to exploit your convenience. Protocol 2, the naked denial. When you finally decide to decline a request, you will encounter the urge to over-explain. The obvious writes paragraphs of apologies, offering fake excuses to soften the blow. You must eradicate this behavior immediately. Justification is a plea for forgiveness, but sovereigns do not plead. You must practice the naked denial. When asked to do something you cannot do, look them in the eye, wait 3 full seconds to establish dominance over the silence, and say, I won't be able to accommodate that. Period. No apologies, no excuses. The silence that follows will make them uncomfortable, and it immediately shifts the power dynamic back to you. Protocol 3, the resentment audit. Your mind has a biological alarm system designed to tell you when a boundary has been breached. That alarm system is resentment. Every time you feel bitter towards someone, it is not because they are evil, it is because you fail to protect your own sovereignty. Every single night, you must conduct a resentment audit. Write down one moment today where you felt frustrated or used by another person. Identify the exact boundary you allowed them to cross. You cannot defend a fortress if you do not know where the walls are breached. Track your resentment and you will map your exact psychological weaknesses. Once you know where the breaches are, you can finally close the gates. And the moment you lock the collective out, everything shifts. Imagine waking up tomorrow completely unburdened. When you stop acting as a background character in everyone else's life, something incredible happens. You reclaim all the energy you were bleeding into the void. You stop hesitating and you start moving with absolute ruthless purpose. The people around you will notice the shift immediately. Those who only valued you for your compliance will disappear, and you will let them. Those who remain will look at you, not with casual entitlement, but with deep, unshakable respect. When you restrict access to your time, you gain the ultimate freedom to build your own empire. But sovereignty is never granted. It must be quietly and ruthlessly taken. It requires a definitive act of rebellion against your own conditioning. Let's see who is actually ready to step out of the illusion. If you are finished trading your peace for their convenience, leave your mark in the comments below. Protecting your boundaries is only the first phase. To understand exactly how narcissists and the dark triad will attempt to break those new boundaries, you must learn to identify their manipulation tactics. Click the video right here on the screen and continue your training. I will see you there.